How's it going, everyone? And as always, welcome back to Continues to Tick. I just want to start this week's video by saying thank you. Thanks to all the continued support. We've gained a notable amount of new viewers over the past month, which is awesome to see. As I say and will continue to say, this journey is supposed to be a long one, and we're still early on in the process, and there won't be any stopping anytime soon. After all, I'm hoping this journey will go with time, and I'm hoping I'll have much more of that to go. This YouTube channel is supposed to shape up, after all, like a story, and a primary component of it, dividend investing. But as the channel name infers, a major pillar here is time, and with that, life and everything that comes with it. So not just finances. Mindset is another big one. Therefore, in this week's video, I'm going to challenge the norm a bit. And as you can see by the title, I'm making the statement that the workforce should be seen as an inconvenience. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I see it this way, and why you should likely as well. However, first, as we usually do, may we just take a brief moment to say, this year has gone quite strange. I mean, it was just the beginning of this year. We still couldn't dine in at restaurants. Kids couldn't be in school. Many of us had been impacted by our jobs, maybe being unable to even work. I mean, our lives as we knew them were turned sideways, if not upside down. But here we are now, in the last week of October, Halloween this weekend. And guess what? November next week. Then December, soon enough. And boom, that's your 2021. So all this to say, we've made it through 2020, and soon also we'll be able to say the same for 2021. So let's keep our goals in line, in sight, and let's keep up this momentum. I'm sure many of us are doing better now than earlier in the year, let alone compared to the horrible nightmare, which was last year. And a lot of that just has to do with time passing. So as you saw by the title of this week's video, I made a rather interesting statement there as to why I believe the workforce should ultimately be seen as an inconvenience. So let me explain why, and why you should feel the same way. Why part of this mindset actually helps us win in the end. So let's go ahead and cue some music. Let's prep the black screen. Just hear me out. Growing up, I've been taught by various people to make it in this life, I need to get a job. And that once we get this job, it means we then enter the workforce at some point or another. It usually varies for many of us. But well, and once working this job that we do, we've made it. And from then on, just maintain. Or at least it's what we've been told. Why is it that no one actually tells us, growing up, that the day you actually make it is actually the day you once again no longer have to work? Or as we often think of it, retirement, meaning you can afford to live your lifestyle for the rest of your life without no longer working. That should be the real prize. I mean, at the end of it all, it does eventually become the prize, right? Whether we think of it early on, or most commonly a bit later, maybe after a few or a couple years in the workforce, nonetheless the switch begins to take shape. We begin to realize, wait, I made it already. I got a good job, I'm making money, I'm surviving as I was taught to do. The question becomes, well, when does it end? When do I stop? When can I afford to stop? When will I get off the wheel of what actually is the workforce? You see, we often think we have to work until the age of 65. We have time. We need to stay working until that time. Working often in a job we simply just tolerate. In a job that is oftentimes created by someone else. Working for someone else. Not working or putting in time into something we'd rather be doing. But let's start today. Let's switch this narrative. We need to tell ourselves from the day before we even enter the workforce. These next few years working aren't the actual goal. The goal is to leave the workforce. You see, the workforce becomes something that takes you away from your family. It takes away your freedom, often making you stay somewhere, stay put. It also leads us to unconsciously operate within a hamster wheel. It becomes the focal point of our day, our life, our time, being then only allowed a few weeks off each year. Now, what type of trade-off is working 48 to 50 weeks of the year to only get 2 to 4 weeks off? And you still have to ask, really? That's an inconvenience. And sure, we can argue to be thankful, but maybe we're also only thankful because we've been educated our whole lives to accept this as a valuable means to an unfortunate end. In that case, forgetting to actually live because we're too busy working. And I can understand that we all need to work. We all need to do our part for society to function. But how about we each limit it? Who says we can't? The way I see it, and the way I believe you should challenge yourself as well, is to enter the workforce, inconvenienced by it. See it as a barrier to what it is you actually would rather be doing. See it as an inconvenience you want to overcome as soon as possible. Somewhat like needing to cross a river to make it to your destination, with the workforce being the river, knowing you need to get to the other side, knowing you must get in order to cross, but while not getting stuck swimming in the water or get stuck in a current that takes you away. Always remember, your ultimate objective of the crossing is to get to the other side, not to get stuck playing in the water. Thus, have a timeline in your life, have a destination, and remember your objective isn't to work forever. It should be to work for as little as possible, and then do what you want. Get in, get out, move on. Life is too short. Now, just as we transition to wrapping up this week's video with our portfolio review, take this time as a gentle reminder to subscribe and like the video, as this journey won't be stopping anytime soon. And well, if not for this reason, how about for a snapshot of this baby sea turtle waiting to get into the vast, vast ocean water? I say a perfect analogy of us all entering adulthood. And here we are currently in the Jesse's cash flow portfolio, currently sitting at $39,440.62. So nearly at the 40K mark, which is going to be a quite special mark to achieve. If you've been following my videos, you know that the 40K mark was my goal for the year. And we're nearly there with practically 2 months to go, 2 whole months. So that's exciting. But nevertheless, this is on the all-time charts as you can see here. And it's with a portfolio return of 35.29% and a total gain of $5,772.14. And if you look a little closer here, you can see for market gain alone, we've now crossed the $5,000 mark, currently sitting at $5,055.19. But the markets have been doing pretty well once again, despite their dips in the past couple weeks. And apart from market gain alone, here we are with our earned dividends, now reaching $716.95. And if we zoom out here, let's take a look at the 1 week mark. We can see over this past week, we have a 1.34% return, which equates to a pretty good market gain of $521.50, where for market gain alone, we're at $516. And from earned dividends, it says we're at $5.22. And if we take a look into our dividend activity section, we had a lot of dividend payouts over the last couple weeks, but this last week was a fairly quiet one. But we did have what appears to be a snowball action for the week on October 18th of $33.97 going into the portfolio. And then the other little action that we did have, here we are on October 20th getting our $500 deposit funneled in just like we always do. And then the further funnel of actually putting these funds into the portfolio. And as you can see here, no snowball action on the actual purchase, but earlier on in the week, we had about $33. So, I mean, for the most part, we could say a $33 snowball this past week. So definitely no complaints from me. And that is compounding. That is the activated drip. So that's going to be it for this week's video. I had a fun time putting this one together. I had a fun time challenging myself to feel that the workforce as a whole is an inconvenience. There's days where it's definitely convenient when you're getting paid, but for the most part, day in, day out, clocking in, clocking out, having to go in and be away from the things that you would rather be doing, from the people you'd rather be spending time with, it starts to become an inconvenience after a while. And the storyline continues here on Continues to Tick. Thanks again to all those that are new. Thanks again to all those that continually watch. It is appreciated. And stay on the lookout for those community tab posts. I'm having fun now that that new feature is unlocked. So I'll sprinkle those throughout the week. We've made it through 7 days. So we have a high chance of making it through another 7. And I can't wait to see you then, in November. And until then, as always, take care. Peace.